Yeah! What's up, everybody? Drink water here. We'll be rebuilding, repacking, if you will, the hubs on this beautiful 1989 Dodge RamCharger. I will be showing you how to do that step by step. It's a pretty easy process, not a really big deal. First thing we do in this process is jack it up, put a jack stand underneath. Always use a jack stand, please. Once we do that, I'm going to pull the tire off. Once the tire comes off, the next thing we will be doing is pulling the brake caliper. I want to apologize now for the video. I didn't know that the caliper would be washed out by me putting the camera right there. That's my bad. But you see that bolt right there on the caliper? There's one right there and then one underneath. Takes a 1/2 inch socket or wrench. You pull those two off, those tabs come off. The pull the caliper off and put it on top of the knuckle. Do not ever let that caliper hang by the brake line. You will mess up the brake line. Not a good thing to do. So take those bolts off, pull the caliper off, and put it on the knuckle. There's your pads. There's the pad. Now you're gonna need a 9/64 Allen to take off the actual most outer piece, the locking hub 4x4 switch lever. Just unscrew them and take them out. I like to put all of my materials in a plastic bag. That way nothing gets lost and I know where it's at, because you will be reusing a lot of these pieces. Keep track of it. Some of the tools you're going to need to do this little job: flathead screwdriver, a socket that I bought from O'Reilly's, 1/2 inch long handle drive, flathead screwdriver, and some picks. Straighten the hook. There's the numbers you need off of it to buy from O'Reilly's, 20-some bucks. Here's a diagram. You can pause it and study it. So once that lever switch, 4x switch, comes off, put that to the side and get out your. Here's another thing you can pause and study. That's how your bearings put in with the races bearings. First thing we do is go remove this retaining ring. Get you a hooked pick, and once you get it started, go ahead and put a flathead screwdriver behind it, push it around, and off it comes. Simple. Next thing, we're going to remove the locking hub assembly. Take 2 flathead screwdrivers, put them together, pull it, comes right out. Now you will be using this again, so keep track of it, take care of it. That's why I use the bag. Next thing we're going to have is the outer hub nut. You take that big old socket, put it on the drive, and unscrew it. Not a big deal. This whole job is not too bad. Not bad at all. And that's how it goes. You have the inner locking hub, the locking hub ring, and the outer locking hub nut. Alright, here we go. Moving the outer hub nut. See it? Few little turns and it comes out by hand. There it is. We're going to be cleaning that up and reusing it, so make sure you keep track of it, please. Next is going to be the locker hub nut ring. Just take you that hook, pull it on out. You track it, please. Not a big deal. Next is going to be the inner hub nut. Same process. There it is. Keep track of it. Once that comes off, the whole hub will be able to be pulled off. Be careful of that first bearing, because once you pull from right here, that bearing will be very loose, and you're gonna see it come in frame. See right there? See how loose it is? Don't let it fall on the ground. You want to hold on to it. There is your shaft seal. You want to hold on to that bearing, because if it's still not in too bad of shape, you can save it and use it. You know, maybe next time you might be on the road and the new one you put in is damaged, or you put enough grease in it, you put that one in. Here's what came out of it. Here's all the hardware that goes back. I have all the names and numbers for you. Seal, races, bearings. That's the outer, inner, and then your seal. First thing you want to do is remove that seal, pull both the bearings, which the first one comes out pretty easily, right? You saw that? And then you have to carefully knock out both of the old races. And the way you do that is by taking a punch and a hammer. I'll be showing you. Here's another thing you can pause and read through to make sure you get it done correctly. Things to take the races out you're gonna need. Oh, sorry, here's me pulling the bearing. Comes right out, easy. Things you're gonna need to punch the bearings out is a punch and a hammer. Excuse me. The wire brush is just to clean it up. I used a spray degreaser and it worked pretty well. It's pretty hazardous. Make sure you wear proper PPE for your hands and your eyes. This pops off easily enough, and the bearing comes out. Put that to the side. Get your bearing out. Put that to the side. Hold on to it. Clean it. Like I said, keep it in your vehicle. That one right there is in my vehicle right now, just to make sure, you know, that if anything goes wrong, at least I'll have something on the side of the road to go in with. There's the race, fellas. You gotta pound it out in a circular motion and get it out, and put it in the same way. Be careful not to damage it. And here I am repacking the bearing. This is a very tedious procedure, not very bad, but you gotta take your time. This is a time-lapse video. Sorry for the shakiness, but if you're not too sure on how to repack a bearing, make sure you look at some YouTube videos on how to properly pack the bearing. Gotta do it. And once you do that, go ahead and you gotta knock back the races in. Once the race is in, put the inner bearing in, put the seal back, and after that, you're ready to put the hub back on. So I've put the races back in, put the most inner bearing and shaft seal back on, pushed it on, tapped it on very nicely. Now I'm going to install the hub just by slowly putting it on and making sure that you don't push that bearing through. That bearing right there, it will come out and get on the ground, and you'll be, you know, not very good. Once you have it in place and it's pushed up against that retainer very good, you have to pack the bearing. All right, in the upper right hand corner, I'll show you how to do that. It's very easy. Take a flathead screwdriver and just put, see the right hand corner, you want to pack it full of grease, and then once you do that, Then you can install the inner hub nut, and whenever you screw that inner hub nut on, which I'm gonna show you, um, you want to tighten it down, but you can't tighten it down so much that the rotor doesn't move, that the hub doesn't move. Now you want it on, obviously, but you can't tighten it down so much that the hub won't move. So go ahead and hand tighten it, leaving that nipple out. You gotta leave that tit out, fellas. Tit out. Um, Hand tighten it with your socket, and then once you get it hand tight, just give it a few little nudges with your drive. Just a few little nudges, and then go ahead and check it and make sure that your hub still spins. Because if it doesn't spin, it's way too tight, and you have to back it off a little bit. If it spins too freely, then it's not tight enough. You got to use your judgment on that. But see, I'm gonna go hand tight, and then I'm just going to give it a few little bumps with the drive, and that's gonna be good enough. I'm gonna check, make sure my rotor still turns. There it goes on. And tight. Drive on it. Tighten it. Tighten it. And then your rotor's gonna want to move a little bit. You want to get it to where it's snug. Oh, here I am getting hand tight still. Now she's hand tight. Oh, almost. Hand tight. Just want to snug it just a little bit. See how the rotor wants to move a little bit? See how it's kind of tight, but it still spins. Perfect. And the next thing you want to do is go ahead and install that ring. Remember how I pointed to that tit has to be out? Well, that ring has to fit in there, okay? And it has to sit in that tit. It's kind of frustrating, but you have to put that ring in there, and the ring only goes in one way. You have to move the rotor until that back hub nut, the little tit, falls perfectly in one of those little rings. It's kind of frustrating, but you just got to do it. Now once that's installed correctly, you can install your outer hub nut. Same way, put it in the socket, hand tight, and then give it a little turns once it's hand tight. Also, once you're done with this job, you want to get on the highway and run your truck for about a good half hour, 65, 70 miles an hour, and then get out and go ahead and put your hand on the meaty part of the hub, the most outward part, and touch it. It's gonna be warm. I mean, those bearings are rolling. It's gonna be warm. But if it's hot to touch, where you have to pull your hand off right away, that is way too hot. You did not put enough grease in your bearings or grease in the hub. You have to take it all apart and repack the hub and repack the bearings. But if you pull over and it's just slightly warm to the touch, now I'm saying it's gonna be warm, but it can't be hot. I cleaned up the assembly, re-greased it up, and put in the back. That's me putting it back, and then I put my retaining ring back, and then I'm going to be putting the outermost piece, the actual physical part you put your hands on to put the 4x4 on. Thanks so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave some comments, or if you have any specific questions on this job, let me know. I'll try to explain it a little bit more or make another video. I appreciate it for all y'all time, man. Please, if you think I did a good job, like and subscribe and share my video. Thanks, fellas. I appreciate it. Greg Drink Water. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter. subscribe to my channel, please. Alrighty. Thanks a lot. Love you, Leon.